So I'm Austen Henson, this is Ali Huss, and this is Eric Osterman, and we are in flow. High waters. High waters. What comes to mind when you hear that? For some, it may be Johnny's jeans that were made for a toddler and sit so high on his body that when he sits down you can see his kneecaps. For us, we think of the most widespread natural disaster in the world. You know, the one that engulfs cities, destroys lives and homes, and costs a fortune to not only the citizens of this country, but the governments as well. Yes, I'm talking about flooding. Now, how can we stop this? Well, truthfully, we can. But we can do a heck of a lot better at taking preventative measures than we currently have implemented. And Eric's going to show you how.
So, 90% of all natural disasters involve some sort of flooding. And this flooding costs our government $333 million per year. In addition to that, there's also $771 million in uncompensated losses to the citizens of America. So it also has a drastic impact on local communities and governments. In years of flooding, the local communities' municipal spending decreases, municipal debt increases, and it's proven that employment in these communities goes down 3.4% in the years of floods. So as we were searching and trying to gather research on how we can improve these, we asked farmers, we asked hydrologists such as Jeffrey Woods at the Kentucky-Indiana Water Science Department. We asked David Knight, who's an engineer at the Indiana Department of Natural Resources Water Division. And the thing that just kept occurring to us was better forecasting. So as of right now, they use a mixture of different kinds of stream gauges, which they use pressure sensors, radar sensors, and also shaft encoders. So what pressure sensors do is they actually just monitor the pressure of the water flow, and the shaft encoders actually give off electromagnetic waves. Well, with the mixture of these, we only get one spatial dimension. So our idea is to go to all ultrasound radar sensors. See on the left right here, there is a depiction of all three dimensions we will be monitoring. And on the right is an example of a radar sensor on a bridge. And what it does is it gives off these sound waves. And these waves will bounce off the water, the infrastructures around, and the bank overflows, and the surrounding areas. And what this will do is give us a real-time and continuous data to help us improve this forecasting. And with this kind of information and in mixture with precipitation and water data records, it will help us improve disaster relief operations. And this type of technology is actually being used in Iowa, which is our nation's leader in hydrology. And similar technology is also being used with the Texas Advanced Consulting Group at the University of Texas. And they have drastically improved our national stream flow simulation model.
So who are we marketing to? We're going to be marketing to state governments as well as weather and news stations. And through these channels, we'll ultimately be able to reach out to farmers, to traffic goers, and to homeowners. So we differentiate ourselves by improving forecasting. And with the technology and the product that we have come up with, we will provide a one-time expense for the government. As Eric stated earlier, we currently use pressure sensors and shaft encoders locally. Now, the issue with these is pressure sensors have to be recalibrated every 6 months and are easily damaged. And shaft encoders are also easily damaged and lost due to rapid water level change. Again, to add something to Eric said about Texas and Iowa, the technologies that they have come up with have improved the national stream flow simulation from 10 hours to 3.5 seconds. It's massive. The devices that they have come up with also don't have to be updated or fixed. We'll also provide quicker updates as well as assisting natural disaster relief operations. Now, in our business model canvas, we tied our value proposition into our differentiation. We're improving forecasting. So instead of getting that update on your phone saying, by the way, there's a flood, good luck, we'll be able to let you know ahead of time, just in case. We're going from a reactionary to a more preventative process, as well as adding dollar reduction to the state and decreasing damages due to floods. Our key resources are going to be Katera, developers and manufacturers. Our key activities are going to be research and development, beta testing, and coming up with a board, creating a board that Katera will be involved with, and repurposing personnel that would otherwise go out and physically collect this data. Our key metrics are going to be the number of devices that are going to be used, which is about 150 in the state of Indiana. This will help benefit the community by keeping them more alert.
And our customer relationships, we're obviously going to have relationships with the state governments that will help implement these radar sensors throughout Indiana. Manufacturers and IT developers, we're going to need and use them to develop the platform and also maintain the functionality of these systems to keep with that live stream data. Customer channels is going to range from the mobile applications on each daily consumer's phones that are able to obtain this information, as well as national news and weather websites where people can go to that don't have necessarily smartphones, as well as government alerts that instead of alerting you for the reactionary, they're going to be able to tell you ahead of time when the floods are going to hit. And Allie will tell you about the customer segments.
So the customer segments are emergency management officials as well as farmers. For emergency management officials, we're going to go from reactionary to preventative, as I stated in the value proposition. With farmers, I actually spoke with a friend of mine who is a local farmer, and he said the biggest problem he has is the weather, especially rain, which produces floods. And he said whenever he plants his crops and a flood comes, it takes away his crop that he had just planted. And he said that, take away the crop that he just planted. When it does that, it creates I talked to a local farmer friend of mine, and he said that whenever he is planting his crops and a flood comes through and the flood takes away his crops, he has to replant these crops. And when it comes time at the end of the season, to harvest this crop, the crops would either not mature well enough for him to sell on the market, or they just wouldn't have grown at all. This is a major loss for him, and he said if he even had a couple hours notice to get a flood, to update on a natural disaster or a flood, that it would be very beneficial and he'd be able to save the majority of his crop.
As far as our cost structure goes, we weren't able to actually obtain that calculated number figure for how much we're going to reduce damages and costs for the government, but we did obtain the one-time fee that implementing it in Indiana would calculate at. It's $245,550 because there's going to be 150 sensors and they're $1,637 a piece. That is a one-time fee, but to calculate that number, we've developed a 2-year reduction plan to where we're going to evaluate and measure just how much cost we are reducing. Now, not only are we going to reduce the cost, but we're going to use these revenue streams to monetize it, using the customer channels such as the mobile applications, the national news and weather websites that are going to subscribe yearly and pay a yearly subscription to keep up to trends and keep people alerted and use this information. So in closing, in addition to potentially saving lives here and generating capital gain, our primary value derived from this preventative movement is going to be cost reduction. Thank you.
There we go.